Now, prudent spending is key if Nigeria's economy will bounce back. And President Bola Tinubu believes the practice of servicing national debt with 90% of realized revenue is destructive and promised to deviate from that part. This was disclosed by President Tinubu while giving the opening remarks at the annual MBA conference in Abuja. The president alluded to making hard reforms to veer the country off that unsustainable path. He noted that these reforms might create short-term negative impact on Nigerians, but encourage citizens to put future generations above short-term comfort. To make better understanding of this, we're joined by Aki Fatunke, chartered accountant and developmental analyst. Thank you very much for giving us your time. Now, Nigeria spent around 96% of its revenue on debt servicing in 2022, up from 80% in 2021. How did that affect the country's expenditure and fiscal position?
Terribly, Felicity. I like to say that the disjoint is real, is latent, potentially much more destructive, and if care is not taken, we are getting into what economists want to describe as debt peonage. We are getting into a situation where our cover, so to speak, by way of the monies that we have put together, and just put it lightly, is not capable of basically more than 6 months of imports. We are very much import dependent. So the physical, the monetary imbalance that takes most economies into not just depression, keep them in depression, very difficult to come out from, is all staring us in the face. I may therefore say, without being too conservative, to say despite the potentials, Nigeria is not functioning. It's not functioning economically as it should function. And if you go beyond that and get beyond the tipping point, the case of Zimbabwe, Uncle Bob's Zimbabwe, the case of Greece, and some of the falling banana republics that we find in different parts of the globe will be a child's play compared to ours.
Many people might not be too shocked, even though we don't understand the complexities of the issues. We know that we're not in the best position financially, economically, so to speak. The public debt stock is over 38% of GDP, and the debt service to revenue ratio rose from 83.2% in 2021 to 96.3% in 2022. The accusation had been that the previous administration channeled borrowed funds into unprofitable ventures. Do you agree?
I agree 120%. The last regime, even before now, the immediate past, let me even say since 1999, essentially what we have done was to borrow to fuel our consumption, to borrow to bring in toothpicks, to borrow to begin to expend our PMS, our petrol motor spirit, the so-called deregulation that has not come. I much more agree to the extent that quite a number of other factors came in, including smuggling, the distortion that we are borrowing money to do a consumption is being used to feed the smuggling of our neighboring countries. I'd like to also say, if you dig down and drill, you will find that developmentally, we were borrowing money to even feed our enemies, the bandits, the Boko Harams, and what have you, and the non-state actors. To the extent that we are now saying that should stop, great. I mean, Felicity, if you met a situation on the road whereby a motor accident and then you are losing a lot of blood, you get into a bit of a shake and do try to apply what I call resuscitation. It will shake you, and if you're not careful, it may shake you and even damage you much more. So we need a bit of short medium, and perhaps long term, to making sure that whatever it is, the shock treatment that I think is necessary, I think is needed, to make sure that we carry everybody along and we lead by example.
Let's broaden that suggestion you've made to making plans. The Debt Management Office in 2023 said Nigeria's debt to revenue ratio stands at 73.5%, which is beyond the recommended threshold of 50% and therefore unsustainable. What is the best approach to servicing debt without straining government's purse?
Felicity, the Debt Management Office merely just scaled that down to 73.5%. I can say for a fact that KPMG initially around May 19, 2023 was talking about 100% of our debt service to revenue. That is scary, that is whooping. In fact, the World Bank is already saying that 123.4% of our revenue will be used to service debt. Not just unsustainable, not just a sin against generations unborn. And I will tell you, part of the things we need to do is the right vibes, the right method, perhaps applied in a way that needs to be taught, to be shown to all and sundry that we mean business. And the first thing is to build trust. I do not think trust is available. I do not think those who are leading us, some people say they are ruling us, have not shown enough example. The fact that we need to do a bit of fasting from the leadership, and then
I think we'll need a lot more time with you so we can actually talk about this a little more extensively towards the part of solution. But for now, I'm afraid that's where we'll have to leave it. Thank you very much, Mr. Fatunke, for speaking with us.
Thank you very much, Felicita. And we can sell our assets very well, and we can do so many other things. Time will not permit us to get into that. Hopefully, we'll be able to expound that later. Thank you very much, Felicita, for having me.